I have a confession to make. This isn't easy, but I feel like you guys have been there for me this whole time, that I feel like you guys deserve the truth. I've been lying to you. It's lighter than I thought. About a year ago, I put up a video about my history with drinking, the good and the bad, the struggles I've had, and I basically highlighted that I was going to make some changes. I was going to really cut back on drinking, still have the occasional one, still do the social drinks, still have that one after a rough day, but really just not be that same person that I used to be, and no getting out, going wild and drunk and crazy. And I couldn't deliver. I, in fact, after that video, stopped drinking completely. Yeah, that video was posted on the 27th of September, and the last time I had had a drink of alcohol before that was on the 25th of September 2020, meaning that without actually being planned, I ended up going a whole year without drinking and still going strong, actually. And it's funny because that's not the first time that I've, I guess, lied. Back when I first started doing these videos, I did one about exercise and fitness, and I really made it clear that I did all of this without going to the gym. That I wasn't a gym sort of person, that I had tried and failed, and I felt like going to the gym wasn't really for me. Literally, I reckon 2 weeks after that video came out, I started going to the gym and became pretty obsessed with it, and still go regularly, like minimum 5 times a week, every week, for that was now 2 years and going strong. I'm even seeing a personal trainer who's helped me out for over a year now with results that I'm so happy with. I can't really see myself stopping anytime soon. So what that now makes me is, for those of you playing at home, a fitness obsessed gym guy who is also a vegan, who doesn't drink while being a big fan and very vocal user of self-help cliches. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, I am fun at parties. Yes, chicken? Okay, that was an unexpected little cameo. This is Chicken, or China. She is very loud, she is a lot, and she also came into my life that was about a year and a half ago. But yes, this is Chicken. She's a lot. She's a lovely lady Mancoon, and yeah, she runs this house and makes a lot of fur everywhere. Yes, thank you for that. Anyway, the big thing I want to take away from this video is, I guess, it's just about vices. This isn't going to be a sad, negative video. This isn't going to be a coming up from the depths video. It's just very much a quick explanation with me about how I feel like I am someone who has always had a very addictive personality, but about niche things. I've actually never got addicted to smoking, despite having a few smokes in my day. Granted, only ever when drinking. I don't think I've ever had a sober cigarette. But I was a guy that would, you know, if I was hanging out with a bunch of people smoking like that, I'd have a few, never once had the urge to get it. So in my head, I was always like, that's the most addictive thing ever, and I never got addicted to smoking, so maybe that's not something that I get addicted to. But then, of course, I sort of realised that I am very, very addicted in other ways. So the biggest one for me, of course, was drinking. But it doesn't end there. I've been quite addicted to food, especially junk foods, salty, sweet, you name it. I always had this idea of, my dad used to always say I would eat because I was bored. My mum would always say I would eat for memory. And they sound pretty weird and like almost cliche-y, but it makes a lot of sense. And that became a big problem in my life, combined with my drinking. And of course, I have also been very, cat's going crazy today. I've been very, very addicted to just, I guess, not toxic in the way of doing these things as bad, but just like behavior like my gaming or my just entertainment, which everyone likes to be entertained, but I've learned that once something entertains me, I'll latch onto it like crazy. And I have experienced obviously a lot of the worst stages of my life because of this. I got to my lowest level of self-esteem due to lack of self-care, combined with, of course, awful eating habits and heavy drinking. But at the same time, once I sort of realised that, I learned that I was lucky enough to get a hold of it and make those changes. I was able to make some pretty positive changes. I was able to do things like get into exercise and obviously start eating healthy. And this is actually a case where my addictive personality worked in my favour and I actually gained some new vices. A lot of people, most people, not all, get an endorphin kick from exercise, be it going for a run or a successful weight session, and thankfully I was one of those people that fucking loved it. I then got addicted to the idea of enjoying the healthier foods. These were foods that I realised I always thought I wouldn't like, but was actually never really willing to try because I was so obsessed with the bad foods. In my head, I couldn't like the good foods, so I didn't give them a go. And then I got into things like stir fries and curries and became obsessed with that. So my food addiction was able to transfer more into those sort of foods. I still obviously overindulge occasionally. So I suddenly got into the idea of let's keep doing those things that make me feel good about myself. And I realized that I will always have an addictive personality. I will always find things that I go so all in on that it might be to a damaging level, depending on the thing of course, but what I have realised is I can use that to my advantage if that vice is latched onto a positive thing. So yes, addiction is very, very real and a lot of people suffer it, and let's be blunt, in many cases it is a completely genuine, valid disease. Doesn't mean that just because you have an addictive personality that all hope is lost. And no, I'm not just going to say you can just snap your fingers and suddenly that vice that's really bringing you down is just going to disappear. Absolutely not. Every single thing I did took fucking work, a lot of it, and I did not do it alone. Almost everything I did was with the help of other people. Be it, of course, my wife, Kat, giving me that initial inspiration to just get up earlier those days and go for a walk. I was then using her as my borderline nutritionist guide just because her being vegan for so many years meant that it was just a lateral move and an easy decision for me to also make that decision with what I was eating. Then when it came to mental health and how I was doing so many things that I thought short-term were enjoyable but were actually damaging me, I literally went to see a psychologist and had many, many sessions explaining where I was at, and he was helping me get there. Then when I got into things like the gym, I, for a year, did some great working out that I quite enjoyed and felt good, but I also sort of felt like I was plateauing very early in my progress, despite not knowing what more I could be doing. And then I got a personal trainer, Caroline, who helped me out incredibly. Now, years gone on and I'm still feeling better. I feel like I'm making more and more progress. What I'm trying to say is, you don't have to do this stuff alone, and it's not always going to be bad, and don't feel ashamed that you might have an addictive personality. Fucking use it, because I'm not in any way a scientist, I'm not a neurologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, but the way I've always interpreted it is something you enjoy fires something in your brain that makes you think, yes, this feels good, more of it please. And yeah, a lot of those things that are bad for you that can tear your life apart, that can absolutely rip you to shreds, also have that firing system into your brain, but a lot of good shit has that too. And you might not have found it yet. And tell you what, once I did, it was very, very hard to look back. Just to end on a bit of a, I guess, a silly note, I've actually been told by both my trainer Carolyn and my wife Kat that sometimes I go a bit too much with my exercise, and that I don't need to also go for a run after doing an intense weight session at the gym, but that's just something that I liked doing. And Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Probably should listen to them there as well.